Law of attraction, raising your vibration when it's being attacked at every turn. For such a simple concept, actually applying the law of attraction in everyday life often seems anything but. You're trying to feel good about money, but your husband can't stop moaning about the bills. You're trying to develop a better perspective on your job, but your coworkers are constantly complaining about everything all the time. You're trying to reduce your myriad fears that are holding you back in countless ways, but you can't seem to get away from all the doom and gloom that is being reported from around the globe. You're trying to become more loving and compassionate, but your brother-in-law is constantly spewing forth all sorts of douchiness and you just want to punch him in the face. You're trying to be more positive overall, but all your mom wants to talk about is how everything sucks ass, from the economy to the idiot cashier at the supermarket. There are just so many saboteurs, and it seems really freaking hard sometimes to feel warm, fuzzy and all is right with the world. It can be hard to walk around feeling you will get what you want when there are so many things happening that seem to suggest otherwise. Keeping other people out of our heads can seem like a Herculean task at times. But here's the thing, my sweeps, as difficult as it may be at times, it is something we have to work on if we want to see any significant change in our life, if we really want to harness the power of the law of attraction to the fullest. We can't just blame the media, our family and society at large for getting in the way. Your mind will be happy to do that so it can go back to the existence and identity with which it is familiar. It might not be great, but it's comfortable and it knows what to expect. You may have started to discover that your mind really doesn't like change all that much. The justifications for feeling badly and for your life being the way it is will gain more traction, and before you know it, you are right back to where you started, letting life happen to you rather than exercising the power that has been there all along, but you just didn't realize you had. So, if you feel like your vibration is constantly under attack, here are a few ways to shore up the delicious energies that will make you a match to what you want and dissipate the ones that don't. Don't ignore the triggers and feelings, examine it. When you first start working with law of attraction consciously, you probably have visions of getting all happy and all the stuff you want floating right into your experience in the most delightful and unexpected of ways. You get that your reality is created by your predominant thoughts, feelings and beliefs, and you just need to start thinking, feeling and acting in a way that supports getting what you want. Easy peasy, right? In theory maybe, but in practice, not so much. You find that you can't let go of the crappy beliefs so easily. Your mind has a very convincing catalog of proof they are true. Changing your thought patterns is harder than you anticipated, and it's a lot easier to keep thinking how you have been than the new, happy, shiny thoughts. Shifting the feelings we have been feeling for so long, not so simple. No matter how much you get law of attraction in theory, and how strongly the idea you create your own reality resonates with you, there is a shit ton of conditioning that needs to be stripped away. And don't panic, this doesn't mean you are doomed until you can totally change your whole inner world and identity. Good stuff can start happening as soon as any shift takes place. The reason it is so hard to raise your vibration is that you still aren't fully convinced this law of attraction thing is real. You can't totally change your whole belief system overnight. You can't all of a sudden fall in love with yourself after years of picking yourself apart and thinking you're broken. And since all of that is still inside of you, it is still going to be mirrored back somehow. You are going to have experiences that reflect all the doubt, fear, low self-esteem, and whatever other yuck is still predominant. You will see, hear and experience things, and the old way of thinking and being will take over because there is a lot of momentum. The temptation is to just ignore all of it and pretend everything is fine, and that you are all happy and trusting. But you're not, and it's cool. You have to admit it. You have to be honest about the beliefs, thoughts and feelings that are still within. You have to realize how you are reacting to whatever is bringing you down is because there is a part of you that is a match to that. One of the biggest barriers to consciously creating our reality is this belief we have to get all happy and ignore all the negativity within. But, if it's already there, it has to be dealt with. When you find yourself reacting to things outside of you, and getting knocked out of a better feeling state, you have to examine what is happening. What was the trigger and why did it bother you? What limiting belief rose to the surface? What thoughts did it make you start thinking? What feelings did you start to feel? You have to be honest with yourself here. Don't shut things down because you feel you shouldn't be feeling a certain way or believing certain things because you know better, or it's not an enlightened perspective. Lots of the beliefs and feelings that come up will probably not be rational. Don't dismiss them for this reason. If you don't do this, you'll never get a full idea of what still needs to be addressed, of what is blocking you from moving into a higher energetic state, at least most of the time. And if you don't identify these blocks, good luck attracting the things you want. You'll continue to live at the mercy of outside forces, and then lament that law of attraction isn't working. Just wanting something isn't enough to bring it to you. You have to be a match to it. And most of us aren't a great match to the things we want because of the conditioning I mentioned earlier. But it doesn't mean we can never be a match to it. But getting from where we are now to where we want to be requires us to clean house vibrationally, and take ownership of our experience and feelings. It requires honest evaluation of where we stand right now. I know this part isn't fun. Again, we didn't anticipate this part of the process. And that is because there are lots of misconceptions about law of attraction and how we truly shift energy. You don't have to go into deep analysis every time something happens that makes you feel badly. When you are feeling really crappy, the best thing you can do is distract yourself with anything that lightens the mood. I'm a big fan of napping personally. Distraction can work wonders much of the time. But it isn't always going to be the ticket. You are working on changing beliefs that you have held a very long time, and there are going to be times when you have to dive in and see what's going on. It may not always be pleasant, and you may have to let yourself feel some things you have been suppressing. But this doesn't mean it has to be an exercise in torture. Make peace with the resistance and the pain. This will go a long way in this work. Imagine how you want things to go and how you want to move throughout the day. One of the best ways to keep your vibration more stable is putting some energy behind how you want things to play out in your day-to-day life. We can easily forget that law of attraction is about so much more than getting stuff. Consciously working with our energy can bring us so many other benefits as well. We can craft our experience so there is less stress and toil, and more flow where things just come together easily and work out perfectly. That higher vibe leads to all sorts of great things like the super helpful sales assistant, clients reacting better than expected to a delayed order, going to the store when it is empty and breezing through your shopping, your husband deciding he would clean the house and cook dinner tonight, your daughter being unexpectedly cooperative in doing her chores, the conflict in your schedule resolving itself, and all other awesome happenings. It can change our interactions with those around us, allowing us to line up with versions of people that are more pleasant, kind, and will make our life easier. It allows solutions to problems to present themselves without you doing a damn thing. And most importantly, it allows you to manifest all sorts of great things that show what you want is indeed possible, and this proof makes it easier to feel better no matter what is happening around you. This proof makes it easier to chip away at all the beliefs that make you think it isn't. So, what is happening in your day-to-day experience that you would like to be better? What would you want to happen? What scenarios would make it easier to keep vibing high? What feelings do you want to experience more? What feelings do you want to experience less? Now, while figuring that out is a very important first step that gets some energy flowing towards what you want, it isn't going to be enough. You are going to have to work a bit on cultivating some more momentum. If an unwanted situation is already in play, it is a lot harder to shift the energy in the moment. You need to do some preliminary work. Spend a few minutes visualizing these more preferable scenarios each day. You don't have to worry about getting super specific. Remember, the key is to get into the feelings that you want to be feeling more in your day-to-day experience. Whatever gets you there is all good because it is the feelings that you ultimately want to experience. How that happens really doesn't matter, and you can't figure out all the different ways things can come together that allow you to feel these warm fuzzies anyway. You may want to think of some affirmations that reflect these desired outcomes and say them throughout the day to flow that energy. The tools really don't matter, just anything that helps you feel those feelings. You will be amazed at the changes you will see. You will be amazed at the myriad ways the universe can support you and orchestrate things so you get exactly what you want and need. And raising that vibration will get easier and easier because you will become less and less of a match to all the things that can knock it down. You're gonna have to make some changes, and some of them may be uncomfortable. One of the things that you will quickly come to discover as you work with law of attraction is how much things outside of you have been affecting your feelings, thoughts and belief system. You'll realize so much of the crap you have taken on isn't yours and never was yours. It certainly feels like yours because naturally you have manifested a bunch of stuff in your own experience that reflects it all. But again, it's not, and you picked it all up along the way from friends, family, religion, society at large and what have you. So, because you are not some spiritual master, and this new identity and belief system you are crafting is a bit fragile, you have to work on removing things from your experience that make you feel all icky. And, some of these changes may be a bit uncomfortable, but you have to be willing to make them if you really want to do, be and have all you want. In some cases, you may not be able to go full bore, and you'll take baby steps. It's fine, as long as you are working on it. If your lunches with coworkers are nothing but a bitching session about your sucky boss and idiotic clients, maybe it's time to change up your routine. Go for a walk or arm yourself with a book, or some other personal development material that will nourish your mind. If certain topics of conversation just drag you down, you have to be willing to speak up and say you don't want to talk about these things. You may have to brace yourself for accusations of being naive or in denial about how bad the world is, or that you are stupid for trying to be all positive and shit. People will take it personally, and get all sensitive about their negative ways. If certain people in your life really aren't a great match for this new version of yourself you are trying to cultivate, you may have to prepare yourself for the possibility things will change. This doesn't necessarily mean just cutting people out of your life straight away. Some people may be able to meet you in that higher vibe and the relationship can go on. But if they can't meet you there, and spending time with them interferes with your energetic transformation, something's gotta give. You have to be willing to set some boundaries and stick to them. You have to let people know what is acceptable and unacceptable in terms of interacting with you. You'll have to do an honest assessment of how you are spending your time, and whether these various activities are reflecting the values you have discovered are most important to you, or are just keeping you stuck where you don't want to be. You can't be one of those people who goes on and on about how her life sucks, or that you are too busy to read a personal development book, meditate or exercise, yet somehow find time to watch TV and mindlessly surf the web for hours a day. If you want your life to be different, you are going to probably have to start doing some things differently. If you really want your energy to change, you have to be willing to do whatever you can to nurture and protect that higher vibration so you can really build some momentum behind that positive energy. You may not stay there every second, and it's fine, but you do have to be more consistent. You have to commit. You have to take responsibility. In closing, unless you want to remove yourself from the world, you are going to have to contend with your limiting beliefs being challenged, other people affecting your mood and all that good stuff. You're only human, and it's okay if you just can't get all happy and trusting every second. You are making some big shifts here. But now that you are more aware of how your reality is created, you have to choose in favor of the thoughts, feelings and beliefs that will help align you with what you want. You can't keep blaming how you feel on other people and the fact that the things you want to manifest haven't shown up yet. You have to realize it is all about choice. It's a process for sure, and you want to be compassionate with yourself. Let yourself feel your feelings, and accept the inevitable bad moods and moments of fear and doubt. Luckily, perfection is not a necessary ingredient for improving our lives. But there has to be that willingness to change your focus and feel better without looking for a reason to do so other than it will help you attract what you want faster. You would think that would be reason enough, but your mind will make some very compelling arguments to the contrary. There is just not enough momentum behind that way of being, but you can build it up quite nicely. Over time, your vibration will stay in that higher range more of the time, and when you do get knocked out, you'll be able to make your way back there faster. Let yourself do things that make you feel better, no matter what they may be. It's all valuable. That is probably the most important thing you can do.